supernatural fandom here in Utah.
Just to give you a little backstage information, before I came out here, Samantha punched me in the face. Just for old time's sake.
He took it well. That was going to be my first question. Was how was I punching him in the face in the show?
Which time?
All the times. Or do you have a ranking from top punch to bottom punch?
I could say one of my favorite ones was when we were all at the camp, and I came to the camp to see Jack, and I just sort of walked by where she's loading guns or cleaning guns or doing something with guns, and I walked by and I'm like, hey, did you miss me? Just like that, pow! Smack you right in the face.
Oh, great. What can I say? But I'm not gonna lie, he's like 9 feet taller than me, so it's never easy.
And it reminds me of home. It's just, you know.
I know.
Right? Right?
Let's get right into some fan questions. Sure?
Let's do it. What's up? Are you feeling randy?
Oh, right in the front here. Hello.
Hi.
Cass, how's it going?
Hi. If you could be stuck with any angel for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Well, I only know one angel. And our conversations are so awkward. Exactly. So subtle.
Now, let me ask a question to you guys. I want to ask a question.
Archangel, right?
But that's still an angel. It's just the best angel.
Okay, Lucifer.
The most powerful, the most potent, the most interesting angel.
The most punchable.
The most punchable. But I want to ask you guys a question. How many of you thought that maybe Mary and Lucifer should have maybe been really good friends? Or maybe even gotten married? I heard a very mixed, intense reaction.
Yeah, very polarized.
Very polarized. But don't you think that Mary could have taught Lucifer to be a man instead of a little boy? Don't you think Lucifer was a little boy?
It's a little petulant.
A little petulant.
And in the beginning of season 13, their relationship was so already like a bickering old married couple that it, you know.
I thought it was just a natural thing.
I think so.
You know, I think Lucifer...
Opportunity missed.
Right, I think so. I think Lucifer admired Mary's chutzpah, her guts, her toughness, and her fearlessness. She wasn't afraid of Lucifer. Or she didn't show it, at least. She's a little bit inside, but you were very tough.
Like, you're so annoying. I know you could kill me at any moment. But we have to stop with the temper tantrums. So you just punch him in the face. It's just a little slap around, yeah.
Wait, what was your question?
Hers was favorite love. Who would you get followed by? Which angel? That was hers.
Right. What's yours?
Oh, okay. So I'm a Supernatural's awesome. My friends Yarle and Monse are like super fans, and they couldn't come, so I wanted to ask you the question, and I'm gonna show it to them or whatever. What are your favorite aspects of your respective characters?
I play twelve.
See? I love that Mary is such a fearless fighter. She's just fierce. And I know that it made her not always the most sympathetic, but I didn't care. I think it was obvious she loved her boys and her family, but she put sort of what's right first, and I always liked that. And she can really punch, and stab, and shoot, and etc. This is going to be a theme throughout this whole panel. Exactly. Monsieur?
I liked that Lucifer had no real rules. Right? He was a bit of a moral anarchist. I'm not encouraging anybody out there to be a moral anarchist. anarchist. But when you're playing one on television, it's sort of fun to be able to do anything you want without any consequences whatsoever. I guess there were consequences, but the consequences didn't really seem to matter too much to him. You know, I also like that he's very mission-oriented, you know. I mean, Mary was very principled and purposeful, and that was her strength of character. But there's a certain strength of character to a person who's mission-oriented, right? They have a single cause, that all of their actions are bent to that. And there's a part of me that admires that, even though I'll pause. Yeah.
Hey, is that someone's phone?
Somebody's singing.
If it is, bring it up here, because
Bring it
we're going
in.
to talk to whoever's calling.
I admire the person who has that kind of
Karaoke.
passion. Is that karaoke?
Apparently.
Oh, I want to get in on that.
Someone's got pipes out there, good for them.
Right?
Did I answer your question?
What I loved about Lucifer, particularly how Mark's portrayal of Lucifer, is that I don't think it never seemed like he thought he was evil. He's just like, I want this. And it was unapologetic and just so calm and you never played it evil, and I just loved it so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I think what? Lucifer, the gummy. I'm a gummy. Lucifer does like gummies.
Who doesn't?
Especially the vitamin ones.
Yes, yeah, I love the vitamin gummies.
It's confusing.
Thank you. That threw me off completely, so I have no idea how I was going to conclude this, but I hope that's good enough for your friend.
That works.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jay. I love you both so much.
We love
Thank
you.
for coming. My question is, can you guys tell us any pranks that Jared or Jensen has put on you guys? Because they're pranksters and
Never happens to these two. Well, I just always say they wouldn't dare, because they haven't. So I don't know if they just
Thank
couldn't
God I'm
think
not
of
the only
any.
one.
Oh, no. They don't prank people they're afraid of, Mark.
So they're afraid of me? I like that. Well, I mean,
Probably for different reasons.
I don't know. You're a good puncher. I don't know that this is a prank, but you know the scene, I don't remember what the episode was, you guys can tell me. Remember the scene where it's sort of towards the finale and I breathe onto the window and it crinkles up with ice and I draw the devil's sign on there? Why are you guys saying, aw?
That's cute.
Was that a cute moment? Well, anyway, let me tell you what was happening in those moments behind the scenes. So I guess I'm doing this scene where I'm explaining things to them, still trying to convince Sam to take me on as the ultimate vessel. And you know, they say action, and the film's rolling, and Jared farted. Not a simple fart, if there is such a thing as a simple fart. It was a complex fart. Many nuances. And it was a little overwhelming. But nobody said cut. So I did the scene anyway, and I think it made it to the final cut. So whenever you see that scene where I'm in front of them talking, know that I am talking in Jared's fart cloud. That's about as close to a prank that I've ever gotten, and I don't think it was a prank. But
He does that. He does that to people he loves. He didn't do it to me, really. Only not peripherally. But it's
peripherally, he didn't?
I mean, like I've been there.
When it's happened.
But yes, but like I haven't been hotboxed in the car like poor Jensen.
Oh God, did you see that outtakes? There's some outtakes
Jensen's
coming
like,
out.
I think I'm dying.
Oh my God. It made me laugh out loud when I saw it. You guys are going to see some outtakes that are very funny. So I don't feel bad telling the world that Jared farts. And there's a part of me that admires that.
Oh no, he's like, here it comes. Like he's just, there's no
There's no
shame.
shame. I I would be highly embarrassed if I farted in front of a lot of people, especially a crew, and they're a captive audience. They're in this, they
They
can't
applaud.
move.
They're like, good one. Like,
So I mean, I've taken a page out of that playbook, and there were times that you didn't know, but in scenes with you, I was farting.
I knew, and that's why I punched you.
It was. That's why it wasn't scripted. Well, you know, as Nick, I had to do different things than Lucifer and farting. So it was.
It's a new
one of my
character
new
choice.
things. I'm kidding. I don't fart.
Kids.
Just don't talk to my wife. This is going south really fast. I don't know, this conversation has gone right into the gutter because of me.
Please bring us back up.
Will you elevate this, please?
Hi, so my question is for Samantha. What was it like to find out you're going to be playing Mary after 2005? So many years have gone by. What was it like?
Surprising. I had recurred a bit, but always, most of the time, as sort of what we refer to as nightgown Mary. I'm like, some wind, you know.
Is this a technical term?
Yes. There were many incarnations. There was Scary Mary, there was, you know, all different ones. But I thought the show was over. So when they called in like February and said, do you want to be in the finale? I was like, I knew they'd bring me back when the show was over. And they don't tell us anything until like 7 minutes before we're shooting, practically, right?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah.
That's disturbing.
And so I thought it was the end of the series, and it was just the end of the season. And I was talking to your producer, and I said, thank you for bringing me back. This is so exciting. What are you doing next? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, this show's over. Did you not know? And he's like, it's not over. And I said, well, I thought I was in the finale. He's like, you're so blonde. Season. You'll be back next year. And I was like, why? And so then the fact that I was coming back as a fighter, they had to like do like the hurry up, teach her how to do some kind of punch, something, because I never fought, except with my sister. And so it was very surprising, but exciting. I was really excited to come back and play a character like that. I always wanted to be Lara Croft, so this was my chance.
So Sam, can I ask, what's some of the preparation that went into preparing once you came back? Like when you were preparing to be a fighter for all of that?
Oh, God.
What was some of the preparation that went into it?
They sent, bless their hearts, they sent a Krav Maga trainer to my house.
Did they really?
They did. There were mats set up in the backyard. My kids at the window like, what are you doing, Mom? Because it was not obvious. Literally, they're like, it took them 2.5 hours to teach me this. I was like, I couldn't do it. I could not even get you're a boxer. I couldn't get the fight stance at all. They're like, okay, that's okay. Because the way it was scripted is I had to do this thing where I had, Dean was going to reach out for Mary, and I had to grab his arm, flip, throw a hip, and throw him over my shoulder. And I was like, what now? What? And I learned it. I learned the one move. And then I get to the set on the first day of season 12, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And I'm like, no, we have to do that. That's the only thing I can do. And they're like, no, you're going to arm bar, twist it, throw him on the ground, and throw your foot in his neck. And I was like, why? Why are you doing this? And I kept doing it to Jensen. I'd be like, he's like on the ground, face down, with his hand open like this. And he's like, just do it. You're too gentle. I'm like, he's like, no. And he's like, twist it. I'm like, I don't want to hurt you. He's like, I'll twist it back. How's that? I did tag his jaw one time. He's like, yeah, that was good. So that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Demonstration. Thank you. Go ahead.
My question is, do you guys have any stories working with Jensen?
Well, that. Whole story.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
I don't. I'm surprised how little I've worked with Jensen. It was actually mostly this year that I worked with Jensen, and that was getting my ass kicked all the time. Chained to some chair with him beating the crap out of me. So I can't say that's fun. Although we did have an epic fight.
At the end of season,
Look, I know that the audience suddenly went silent because I think you took me seriously. It was a potentially epic fight. It started out great when it was on the ground. We did this hand-to-hand UR stuff that was fun. And then, they wanted to put us on cables and fly.
you know what would be a great idea, guys?
Let's make it look like Superman 1980. Wouldn't that be awesome? It's sort of retro. Well, so here's the thing though, guys. Now, have you had to wear those wires? Okay, once. So the girdle that attaches to the wires goes from your knees all the way up to here. And because, insurance purposes, they don't want actors to get too messed up, they cinch the girdle so tight that you're literally like this. And you can't move. Now, I'm old, but I was walking like this, and I couldn't straighten up, and when it came time to run at him, I ran like this, because I couldn't run. Now, Jensen had the same problem apparently, it just didn't look as bad as it did for me. But then when we got to the choreography stuff, we're supposed to be in the air. They're spinning around, I'm like, check it out. I got this inner ear disease called Meniere's. I ain't doing this. You're not gonna see me spinning around up there unless you want me to be disabled for the next year and a half. So, but I don't know if that altered their actual choreography because I think it was just this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 punch, hitting each other like bad hockey players in a fight.
Yeah, I think somebody was watching the Avengers and had like a misguided idea of what they were going to be able to accomplish.
Yeah, it didn't sort. I think if they left it on the ground and they had us do fancy jujitsu and stuff, that would have been probably a little more interesting.
100%.
I think, because Hader is such a good fight choreographer.
We have a new stunt coordinator in the last couple of years, and he's just, so put it this way, our previous one was lovely and very thorough and very safe, but it would be like, okay, so do you feel good? Are you okay? Are you okay? You're fine? Okay, just give it a little more. And it was just very fatherly and sweet. First fight I had to do with Rob Hader is this stunt coordinator. He's like, okay, so you're gonna get there. Got it. That's the difference.
But he's also a martial artist too.
Right.
So whenever he says yes, he says hi. The Japanese hi, which is what my old sensei used to do. So it sort of throws me back.
And Kirk too. They're amazing, but just their technical stuff that they teach you to do is so specific and so brutal and just all the fight scenes just went up like this.
Yeah, they really did. I think they should actually, as a special feature, show Rob's versions of the fights because he films the versions to show us before they do it.
With stunt people.
With stunt people doing it. And the acting is always very funny. I love watching that.
Amazing. They'll say my lines. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet.
That's so sweet.
But it shows us what it's supposed to look like.
And it looks so good. And they should show that because they do cut it in quick angles and sometimes a little too close, and I feel like I don't get the full benefit of the Rob Hader, awesome Born Identity stuff that it could be.
Agreed.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, that finale, that fight. Wasn't it awesome?
The fly fight.
Wasn't it awesome? I loved it. This isn't going out of stream.
Nobody's taping,
It's
right?
just between us.
What happens at Salt Lake FanX stays in Salt Lake FanX.
Okay, good, thanks. Because I didn't mean that at all. I'm joking. I'm joking. What's up?
How are you guys?
How are you?
So Mark, Samantha, love you guys. You guys have been amazing. I wish I could ask you both questions, but my question is geared towards you, Samantha. So this has to do with season 14, Lebanon. When you guys were sitting down as a family with John, Sam, Dean, you, what were kind of your feelings when Morgan, when you knew when he was coming back and everything? what was kind of like going on?
Before we filmed the episode, you mean?
Before, during.
Okay. None of us could stop crying. It's true. Like we all, especially for that end scene, but we just, I can't explain it because, you know, Jeff hadn't been there since season 2 or something, but he's been friends with the boys, like, in his personal life all this time. And I've been more on the set. And yet, weirdly, I think there's something to since season 1, in Jensen and Jared's minds, like, if they have to talk about mom and dad, we are who they see, right? That's just part of acting. And vice versa, like, they're my kids on there. So when we were all together, it felt really like lost family. Like, it felt kind of weirdly real. I think just from the long history of having this imagination story in your head. And so, like, when one of us would start crying, we'd all start crying, they'd say, cut, and we'd look at each other, and he's like, I can't stop. I'm like, I can't stop. And the makeup artist is like, God dang it, we're just like, mascara down my face. But it was a joy. I loved every second. That episode was weirdly poignant for all of us, as it was for, I think, the audience. It was terrific. It was so nice to have Jeff back, and it was special. It felt special while we were filming it. So I hope you guys liked it.
This is for Mark. We just want to thank you for the Only Love campaign and everything that you've done for anti-bullying.
Thank you for this, by the way. This is awesome.
We just wanted to say that you are an inspiration and that we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you too. Thank you.
Mark, you want to tell us a little bit, for those who don't know what Only Love is, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Indeed, yes. Only Love is a anti-bullying campaign that I started, in part because I had a philosophy about the way to deal with bullies. And it came from growing up being bullied myself, and sometimes bullying others. You know, in the 70s, growing up, boys fought all the time. Somebody would bully me, I'd punch them straight in the face, that would be the end of that, it would be over with. If I ended up bullying somebody, they'd punch me, I wouldn't be friends, I wouldn't bully them. And so you just settle things with your fists. And you met aggression with aggression. However, right on, and I'm not going to say that's not good sometimes, because there has been a couple times in my life when I've had to put somebody down in the street who was doing something bad, and it was appreciated at the moment, and it was probably the best thing to do. However, on social media, some of these things can get taken out of context and be spun into whatever narrative you want, and it can be very harmful. Additionally, on social media, people pile on who have no goddamn business piling on. For whatever reason, negative thing, whatever horror show they're living within their own soul, they feel compelled to harm others. And so they jump onto that ugly bandwagon. And so I made a bargain with myself, and I made it to the Supernatural fandom as well. I apologized for anything that I said that may have hurt anybody, a number of times. And I said, from now on, I will never meet aggression with aggression. And that was probably, was that 3 years ago? 2.5, 3 years ago? Since then, I've never met, right on, some of the most vile comments that have come out to me. I've never met any of them with a sarcastic comment or a slap back. I've never started a fight since I was a kid. And since I learned how to fight, I never started a fight, but I used to think it was my obligation to finish them if I had to. And now I think it's my obligation to just be kind and to spread it that way. Now they don't change, because there's something, I'm what do you call it? I'm not a scapegoat, but I'm something else. I'm like the scapegoat in the sense that, you know, you invest all the sin in the world in this one thing. And rather than attack the sin in yourself, you attack the sin out there. And so I decided I'll attack the sin in myself and just let that have whatever effect it has. And so only love means respect for everybody. And if you don't deserve it, then I just block you or leave you alone. You know what should be really nice about Twitter, though? I think that should be good about Twitter that isn't, is that if you don't like what somebody says, you can just block them or mute them.
Just ignore it.
Or just ignore it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to associate with anybody that you don't like or don't agree with. That's the beauty of Twitter. And let me say, if you don't like somebody or disagree with them in a way that, you know, produces negativity, just unfollow them or block them or get away from them, and you'll be so much happier.
And you can do that in real life too.
And in real life, you have that power in your real life, not
You can
to be
just
around
say,
people who are negative.
peace out. You don't have to fight.
Anyway, only love.
Thank you.
What's the weirdest thing a fan has ever done?
There's too many to choose from.
I haven't had that many experiences like that. I mean, I think the men on the cast have had a little more extreme experiences than I get. I get a lot of, can I call you mom? Like, really sweet stuff.
Yeah, and you know, I haven't had weird experiences, but I've witnessed a rather strange experience. Should I talk about that? It wasn't for me.
I don't see why not.
I mean,
It's a cautionary tale, if nothing else.
the boys did get a booklet. It was a sort of narrative story told with Barbies. Barbies and Ken dolls. In lewd sexual positions. I take it back, there wasn't a single Barbie in it, it was Ken dolls, mostly in lewd sexual positions. And it told some narrative. I couldn't quite understand the narrative other than
It was Sam Dean in the book, though?
yeah, Sam Dean. So what do you call that ship? Is that,
Wincest.
that's Wincest.
I love that you don't even disagree.
Listen, people ship what they want. I just... What makes you happy doesn't necessarily translate to everyone. I wonder how the boys felt about that.
I actually snuck a peek at the book. I was like, ooh, this is... It's amazing what you can do with dolls that have no genitalia, but they... Am I going there again? I think I'm channeling Sebastian Roche.
It would be a lot more R-rated and
It would be.
very more specific.
A little bit too many visuals.
Do you know Sebastian?
Do you guys know
Have you been to his
Sebastian Roche?
panels?
Balthazar?
Okay, so Sebastian played, yeah, Balthazar. When he does conventions, there's an asterisk under his panels that no one under 18 is allowed. And if you are of a sensitive nature, you shouldn't go.
Keep that in mind.
It's very blue, hilarious, and he's delightful. I love the guy, but it comes with warnings.
Note to self.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you.
What is your favorite behind the scenes moment?
I can't say I have a specific one, but I will say that it's just fun. Like, we just joke and laugh, and there have been times that you'll see in the you'll see in the gag reel. There was something that happened on Lebanon that literally all four of us, they had to stop because we had stopped crying, and we were crying because we were laughing so hard. Jensen and Jared were both rolling around on the floor. I'm like leaning against a chair so I don't fall down. We were laughing so hard at this thing that happened. You'll see, it's the very beginning of the gag reel. You saw
I
it.
saw it. It's very funny.
And I think it was funny, but what made us just uncontrollably laugh is we had literally gone from like, we're crying, we're sad, and this thing happened, and we just went right over into another big emotion. It just was, so things like that, like that's a memory for me. that feeds into the feeling of family.
Yeah, I mean, I feel sort of the same way. It's like, you have moments with the crew or the people who work on the show that are just sweet and simple, and I mean, there's not a lot of shows where you get to, banter back and forth with the cameraman, and with Brad is one of the funniest human beings on the planet. And I remember I did this scene. This won't be funny to you. I don't know, I'm laughing, I'm building it up like it's gonna be really funny, and it's not gonna be funny to you. But I did the scene where I was doing a speech to Lucifer, I was calling out, do you remember that scene? I was come and I'm trying to get him out of the MD. But they were filming with two cameras, what they call steady cams. And Robin is this really cool guy who operates one camera, and Brad, who's operating the other camera, and they follow me around and they freeze into this one place. They're sitting there and I'm doing this long emotional speech, and all of a sudden both of their stomachs started growling. But like in answer to each other, like they were having a conversation. And not just like a little, but like and I was like, what's going on, man? And Brad's like, I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Lunchtime.
That's it. Lunchtime. No,
It's such a feeling of safety and love, and you see every face and you know every person, and you have like a personal relationship with each and every one, and it's, I think it shows. I think that's the reason. It bleeds through everything.
Yeah, I think that's what you see when you watch the show, is you see that everybody has real relationships with each other.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
What's your guys' thoughts of the show and finally coming to an end?
Are you current on season 14?
Are you caught up?
Are you caught up?
How many people want me to tell you how season 14 ends? Okay, check it out. Don't say no to me, I'm just gonna do it the other way. I'm kidding. I do know how it ends now.
I do too.
Do you?
Yeah, we both have. Yeah.
Do you want to take that first?
Sure. We all know it's coming at some point. And it's sad. And watching Misha and Jensen and Jared give their little speech about how it was ending actually got me. I was a little like, wow. And I think it was because they were all emotional in their own way, about it. But the pervasive feeling for me is that they're going to finish strong. They're not going to dwindle out to season 17 and a half and somebody's going to cancel them. It wasn't the network. It was a decision by the people in the show. We're going to finish strong, and I think that we're going to be done telling the story in another year. And I think that's brave and sad, but probably appropriate. Sorry.
I think it's great for them to go out on their own terms. There's a lot of people don't know when to step off a particular stage. But that said, I know that everything in the universe is finite. I know that everything has to come to an end. But there was something in me that thought, not supernatural. This is the one thing that will never end. Even if the universe ends, it's going to find a way.
In an alternate universe.
In an alternate universe to be produced. And I was wrong, as you are when you think such things. I was pretty sad, and I might start crying if I think about it, because I cry easily. I apologize in advance. But it won't really hit me until it happens. Right now it's true, we see it, we know it's going to happen, but it's abstract, It's like, oh, it's in the future. We still have 20 episodes left. We still have, things to look forward to in that respect. But it's going to really be sad when it's gone. But the good thing is, it's not going to be gone. You'll have 15 years of the show that you can play. And every time you see it, you're going to find something new in it. And we have events like this where we can sit and talk about it. We can still commune like family, right? So hopefully, as long as I'm here on this rock, I'll be here as long as you want me to. And I think the rest of the feels the same.
Hello, my name is Mary as well.
Very nice.
Hey, Mary.
This is for you, Mark. I wasn't a big fan of Lost because honestly, it did lose me.
What did it do?
It lost me.
Oh, it lost.
It lost me. It's deep. So, which was the hardest role for you to prepare for? Either Bishop on Being Human, Lucifer Supernatural, or Gavin Q. Baker III on The Closure?
I love Gavin Q. Baker III. He's my favorite character. Has anybody seen that? Oh my God, please watch that. I hate, this sounds like self-promotion and I hate that. I'm not trying to self-promote. I just love that show. I love the people involved in it. James Duff, the executive producer, I love him. I have a total man crush on him. And one of the reasons I love him is because one day the hairstylist was doing my hair and the next week she was directing one of our episodes. And you do not see that kind of crossover in most Hollywood productions. Most Hollywood productions, I'm sorry, I'm going to say a little bit of bad things about Hollywood for a moment. Sorry, Hollywood, but you suck sometimes. Sorry, but you're misogynistic sometimes.
Not just sometimes.
And a little racist and fucked up. And you know, and having the imagination to see an artist in one respect cross over and be an artist in another respect was awesome. And I think that comes from somebody like James Duff, and my hat goes off to him. And that character was a cross between my two favorite television personalities on the planet, Tim Gunn and Carson Kressley. I love him beyond belief, and so I put them into Tim Gunn, and James Duff said that the character was a little bit of him as well. And I loved seeing a flamboyant gay man conquer the world and be the strongest human being in the world. Like, he was the only character that put Kira Sedgwick's character in her place. And he was the smartest guy in the room, and I just loved that. So that was one of my favorite characters. But I feel like Lost wasn't, they didn't give me anywhere to, they gave me one thought to think about, which was actually the profound thought for me. But it required no homework because I've done the homework previously in all my philosophical religious studies that I do. I did a take, and the director said, "That's it, Jesus the Carpenter." And that had a profound meaning to me, and that's sort of the image of Jesus that has connected with me, and so that is what sort of animated that. But the other parts, like being human, I actually did all kinds of crazy work on that. I don't even know if any of it showed up. But they said, you know, you were turned into a vampire in 17th century England. Thanks. And so I got like The Plague Year by Defoe, and I got this whole book on London in the 16th and 17th century, and I figured out all kinds of crazy stuff about my origin story that, you know, didn't do anything for them, but did something for me. They rejected some of it. I wanted to speak with an accent. I wanted to do all kinds of crazy things. They're like, no, just don't do that.
Isn't that annoying?
I hate
It's
that.
devastating. We've learned, Ruthie and I were talking about this, don't ask permission, just do it.
That's it. I should have just come on and just started speaking with a version of your Boston thing that had an English vibe, but I didn't. So it's my fault. But, you know, that's it. I mean, the other ones were challenging to work on, and the other ones were just sort of images and characters that helped me sort of understand the part. But thank you for watching it, Dan. Thank you. Thanks, Mary.
Hi. Okay, my question is for both of you. What was your most absolute favorite scene to film, and why?
Supernatural or anything?
Either.
We'll get back to you 2 hours after we mine through all of this stuff. It's a little rough. I think that's hard because there are different things, different kind of favorites. It's like, what's your favorite food? Like, well, if it's a salty thing, or if it's a meat thing, or if it's a sweet thing, you know, like there's different categories, right? Because we're insane actors. Like there's, like I loved the Lebanon scene where we're all crying. Like, who wants to do that? Except a crazy person. But then there's a scene where I'm literally slicing heads off vampires. I'm just like, covered in splats of blood, and that was really fun too. Very different, very different. But I had a scene in Transformers where this giant truck drives up, and I'm holding a baby, and I'm like, this could not be more Americana right now if we tried. And that was fun. Like there's many different things, and I really actually can honestly say I look back on all the work I've had, and as an actor, you're usually pretty excited and really thankful for any job you get, because it's a really tough industry, right? And I feel so lucky to have had all those experiences. Those are not experiences me as Sam get to have in my life, and no real human does. They're all made up stuff. So a vast array of experiences that you wouldn't normally have.
That's a great answer. I mean, I feel like I've had experiences that were intense learning experiences. Like when I did a movie called Capote with Philip Seymour Hoffman, who, in my opinion, was a genius. And I listened to him. There's a scene where he comes into the death chamber, and it's almost a confession scene. He's saying goodbye to us, and he has the power to save us, but he doesn't, because he wants an ending to his book. And he told Bennett Miller, who has ended up becoming one of the best American directors out there. This is his first film, by the way. He's like to Bennett, he's like, Bennett, I'm not crying in the scene. I'm not going to cry. And he proceeded to cry in the scene. And very well. And even better when the camera wasn't on him. And I thought, what an interesting thing. He's such a good actor that I felt like what he was doing was robbing the scene of expectation so that he could be free to experience whatever he wanted to experience. Because there are a lot of you didn't see that.
No, it's not.
A lot of directors can be result oriented, and they can get actors feeling result oriented, which is the exact opposite of the way you are in life. In life, you're just in it, and whatever happens, happens. You know, only in acting do they say, cry, we want the audience to feel this. And when you're really acting, you're like, hey pal, that's your job, you're the director, that's the story, just let me be. And Philip did it great, he's just like, I'm not crying. And then he went and he felt whatever he felt, and it was beautiful. It was, you know, Academy Award-winning performance. And so I learned that, you know, what you have to do, in some respects you have to do in life, just take a little bit of that expectation out. Just take what is here and feel that to the fullest, and that's okay, that's enough, that's good. And so I think that was a profound experience for me, I'll never forget it. And it's a debt I owe to him as an actor.
I think we say we've only got a couple minutes left, so this is our last question.
Hi, my name is Nicholas, and I have a question for Mary and a present for Mark. So my question is for you, is when you got brainwashed in season 12, what was it like when you locked Sam and Dean in the bunker and just drove off?
That's a good question. We actually, the director and I talked about that a little bit, because having never actually been brainwashed in real life, I was wondering, I'm like, is there a little piece? Is there a little bit of old Mary inside, like banging on the door, like, don't do it? And do I show any flicker of that? Or am I just like, has all of that been removed? Like, how brainwashed am I? And I think what we had to do was go a little bit robotic, like that piece has been closed off and you're doing what you are told. You may not understand why. And even if you disagree, you're just like, okay, well, because even after that scene, Ketch asks Mary, are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine. Like, either surprised or wondering why he asked, you know what I mean? So, it was hard for me to look down at the boys and be like, sorry dudes. But I also knew there was redemption coming. As Sam, I knew. Mary didn't know. But I think and luckily, because I don't like when those boys are mad at me, even for fake. So, they were not looking at me nicely during that scene, but they also, as characters, knew it wasn't my fault, which was kind of a relief. So, yeah, it wasn't Mary's finest moment, even if it wasn't her fault. And a gift for
Did you have something
for
for
the
her?
devil.
And with that, I hate to say it, but we are out of time, you guys, so let's give it up.